There's a new report that says, man, 300 banks in the US risk a failure. We haven't heard of a bank failure in quite some time. Actually, no, I take that back. We heard of one recently, but we haven't seen, like a ton of reports, I guess. Kind of like 2008 when every bank was going under. We haven't heard that because we know the Fed has been using their emergency money and giving them out and loaning and so forth, right? But there are a lot that are on the brinks of collapse, and there's only so much the Fed can do, right? So we know that the last time we had some bank failures, and that was back in 2023, that was when actually Bitcoin went up because people that distrust banks, where they go put their money, right? They're going to put into Bitcoin. That's what they're going to do. So this could be a major catalyst. This is one of the reasons why I think Powell is so adamant about cutting rates, because he knows this is happening. When there's high interest rates, banks don't get as much business as before. Businesses are not borrowing as much. Obviously, retail is not borrowing as much. And it puts a whole lot of pressure on the banks to perform. But how they make money is by loaning out money. And if no one wants to borrow, then they're not making a whole lot of money, right? And plus, a lot of them have bought a ton of bonds with their spare cash. And they can't really sell it because those bonds are worth less than what they paid for it. So if they did sell, it would incur massive losses. So this is one of the new things. I've talked about this many times in 2022, 2023. But this could be a big thing that drives more people to Bitcoin because they're sick of hearing about banks and shenanigans and bailouts from the Fed. Grayscale finally stopped selling. No selling. Okay. In fact, buying. Not only did we not have a net outflow, we had a net inflow for the very first time for Grayscale ever since ETFs were introduced. Think about that. And it was a pretty massive inflow. 63 million. We've been waiting for this day for Grayscale to finally stop selling and to start buying, and it has finally come after 77 straight days of selling over, 300,000 Bitcoin. We finally have some inflows. Maybe the FOMO is just too much, even for the people that are selling Grayscale, right? So that obviously was very positive. Overall, on Friday, yesterday, we had a net inflow day of 365 million. We broke a streak of 7 consecutive selling for the ETFs, and we came back strong. That is also a major catalyst, okay? So if that's the case, if this is setting a new trend for this week, and Grayscale stops dumping so much and actually starts inflowing, and other funds start inflowing, watch out. Watch out. Bitcoin is going to be sent much higher. Part of the reason why it's, back where it is already, but I think it's going to go a lot higher. It definitely is going to go a lot higher. It's just a matter of when, not if. So these are all fantastic things, major catalysts, and the ETFs from Hong Kong, a lot of people are discounting them, but they already acquired 4,200 Bitcoin. That's over $250 million within just a few days. Now, if that keeps ramping up, we're going to get over $1 billion, again, removed from supply and being held in these ETFs, going to be absolutely fantastic. Okay? Basically, everyone wants a piece. Nothing has changed. Just with a little dip, a little volatility, nothing have changed. The whales continue to load up on Bitcoin. Only retail, with lettuce and paper hands, only retail sells. These big guys do not. They keep on accumulating because they know they finally, after 15 years? After 15 years, they finally learned their lesson. They're like, man, we should not be dissing Bitcoin. We need to get involved now. Okay? Every single one is looking at how they could get involved with Bitcoin. Even Tether. Tether bought $650 million worth of Bitcoin in Q1. I wonder what they're going to buy in Q2 because their profits in Q2 is even higher. So maybe Tether buys $1 billion just in Q2 alone. They're a big boy, right? Jack Dorsey just put 21 million into the ecosystem, so that's good. In fact, according to Plan B's RSI chart, we have just made that very first deep red circle. And you could see that usually comes after a major dip. You look at 2016, you can see the deep blues, and then we had a dip, right? And then in 2021 or 2021, we also had that big dip, and then we printed that first red dot. And that's exactly what just happened now. Our cycle now mimics the 2016 cycle way more than the 2021 or 2020 cycle. But you could see we had that big dip, and then boom, we're going to go up. We're going to go a lot higher. So this could be the start of the parabolic bull run that's not going to end until 2025. Okay. And that is when Bitcoin will be at, according to estimates, $300,000. Okay. So again, a lot of people think Bitcoin can't possibly go a lot higher. It's no fun to be in Bitcoin. I rather, load up on all the memes and try to get rich quick. But you know what? There are still a lot of gains to be had with Bitcoin. It definitely leads the way. Without Bitcoin, nothing else will be around. Nothing else will survive. Nothing else will pump without Bitcoin leading the way, right? So everyone should be cheering for Bitcoin. That's fact. And if you're looking at this, well, Bitcoin's about to be sent upwards. Now that we're past the halving event, and according to this chart, once we hit this critical level, the phase 2 of this level, that's when Bitcoin will be sent to much higher, to, who knows, $300,000, right? Looking good. Here's another chart. If you need more convincing, this is what you look at, okay? You could show people this. You ask them, what do you think is going to happen now that we just had a halving event? And you just look at what's happened before. The logical conclusion is we're going to go a lot higher. Bitcoin's about to be sent to the moon.